What was my path to Major League Rugby? So I entered the 2020 Collegiate MLR draft. I played at Iona College for 4 years, and I was picked number 7 by the Utah Warriors. The way I got into rugby was through growing up in New York City and being the child of military parents. I was able to travel the world and be exposed to different levels of rugby and different cultures. So I kind of just attached myself to the game pretty quickly. I wouldn't say rugby dominant more than America, but when I lived in the Philippines, I was around a lot of people from, say, Hong Kong or Singapore, where there's, these are small countries, but there's, pretty heavy pockets of rugby playing down there. What originally attracted me to the game of rugby was that, I was a pretty rough kid, and I loved football. I loved fighting, with my brothers and my friends, and rugby was just an awesome mix of the two of them. So my biggest supporters on my path to MLR were my mom. She and my dad, they both allowed me to, they gave me these opportunities to just be around the game as much as I wanted to be. My coaches, huge shout out to my man Pat Quinn, who founded the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. He was in my corner, getting me out to wherever I needed to be, one of my biggest supporters. He's an Iona alumni, passed recently, but he's a guy that was always in my corner, had my back, and really encouraged me to chase the game. The rugby community to me is one that encourages brotherhood and sticking up for yourself, as well as your teammates, always having each other's back, being in each other's corner, and just encourages love and friendship, and that's something that I'm all about. My style of play on the pitch is kind of unique. I don't really have a home in the back line, but I find myself as more of a supporting player. I try to find space for other players, but always, looking for that extra work, chasing every break that I see. I love to defend. I love to make sticks and tackles. So I wouldn't say that you're not gonna find me making line breaks all over the field. I'm gonna try to put a guy away, and I'm chasing down his break. One thing that people may not know about me is that I love to cook. I'm always in the kitchen, trying out new recipes and, chefing up, and I love chess. I love chess because I think it's just such an interesting game that goes back so many years, and I wouldn't say that I've always loved it, but I always knew how to play it, but maybe a year ago, I just dove into it. I started reading books on it, studying it, and I just think it's so cool. What I love to cook most, I try to diversify, everything I'm doing in the kitchen, but I think that Mediterranean food and Mexican food are things that I find myself gravitating towards a lot. I put a sirloin on a piece of tin foil, get Lipton onion soup mix, drizzle it, I pour the powder over it, wrap it up, cook it at 325 for 2.5 hours, and cook some Brussels sprouts, maybe a salad. It's done, you blow on the meat and it falls apart. It's just so tender and delicious. I stayed fit during the off season by surrounding myself with a lot of the rugby players in my community. I have some really good friends who are also chasing their dream of playing high level rugby. Kids who are playing in college, kids who are playing high level high school rugby even. We would just all get together, play touch, do skills, get lifts in together all year. So all year round there's someone to put in work with, so it was pretty easy for me.